Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Bryan Vielhauer on the line, who's president over at Decal Impressions. Bryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for having me today.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Decal Impressions. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career in business?
Adam, I think I was kind of born into an entrepreneurial stew. My great-grandfather and great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were all entrepreneurs. When I was a younger lad, I was kind of taken under the wing by some neighbors and relatives who were very successful in business and just kind of courted me into the mindset of problem solving, being a person who stood behind what they said. They always spoke to me in ways of generating deals. So when I would shovel snow or mow grass, it was always a contract that they would teach me about. I agreed to provide the service for a price, how to complete it to their satisfaction and standard. And I just, from a very early age, I had many people telling me, "Oh, you're going to be a businessman someday." And I really enjoyed having that kind of positive outlook with, kind of experience and the knowledge they shared. And it created kind of a desire from a very early age to continue on in the family entrepreneurial trail.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I love it. You said you were born in the entrepreneurial stew. That's awesome. And there's, I love the background in the business now. It says, going in the 50th year in business. It's absolutely amazing. And I want to get more into Decal Impressions. But before that, there's some people listening right now that are, maybe they were born in that entrepreneurial family or setting, but they want to be entrepreneurs, and maybe they're just getting started. What kind of advice would you give to that newbie that's just getting started as an entrepreneur?
Great follow-on question, Adam. I guess what I would say is knowing what you're providing and agreeing that when you give your word, it's final. The ever famous, the buck stops here. Being able to deliver on your commitments to your customers, to your potential customers, knowing that your word matters is really the first ingredient to a phenomenal career in business. Anybody can say it. It's those that deliver on it that makes a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's switch it up a bit, Bryan. I want to get into what you're doing over at Decal Impressions. So tell us a little bit more about the business, please.
Well, we're a wide format digital printer, print service provider, so we serve a variety of different business channels, from direct to trade work for small to medium sized sign companies that need an outfit that has a little bit larger equipment base, so we're able to support that in a regional capacity. We also have the ability to serve larger accounts, franchise-based systems through our web portal, where we have their customer store and we supply their system nationwide. And then we do what I would call some charitable work, where we do a little direct to the end user to make move the needle in communities.
That's awesome. And so what kind of clients do you typically like to work with? Any specific niches or size of clients, anything like that, so that if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking if they should give you guys a call?
We work very well with small to medium-sized franchises that are just getting started, that need to leverage a company that can handle a multitude of challenges for their franchisees from a graphic arts perspective, possibly some electronic media, right down to actually helping them get started developing their brand and holding brand standards. So by putting their customer or their company's store on our website, they have complete control over what typically, when you're dealing in the new and startup franchise business, is something that's moving very quickly. You want to make sure that your brand is protected and that folks just aren't taking liberties they shouldn't when they sign up to be involved in a franchise system.
What do you, and I know this is going to vary from client to client, size of business, obviously also the entrepreneur themselves, the founders, but I do know that certain themes arise, and with the amount of clients you work with, what do you find are some of the mistakes that some small business owners make when it comes to things like brand management, specifically like print, digital, all these things, because it's not an easy thing?
It is not, and I think a lot of times what they do is they fail to trust the professionals that they've hired. Sometimes it's because they've had a bad experience. Sometimes small business people tend to be a little possessive, and they don't really let the professionals that they've chosen to put into place manage it. And they start micromanaging those professionals, which really creates an environment that doesn't allow the process to work. So I think really you have to develop a good business relationship. You have to have trust. You have to believe in both parties, and that's why, very much doing what you say you're going to do as a supplier is so important to those folks, because a lot of them have had bad experiences and they're really trying to find their way out of it. So knowing that they can trust you is really a key, and I think trusting in that relationship and listening to the advice that they're paying for is important.
Any kind of trends that you're noticing in your industry from your standpoint?
I believe we're just in a red-hot economy. I believe people are really expanding their business, putting a lot of effort into future growth. I like to call it farming. They're planting seeds that are going to mature over the next 12 to 24 months and just keep growing their business. So I think things are great. I see just a lot of positives in the overall economy.
That's awesome. So, Bryan, if somebody is listening to this and they're thinking about calling Decal Impressions, is there a specific geography you work with? Is it nationwide? Is it local? You give us a little bit more background there.
We serve coast to coast, Canada, pretty much anywhere you need us, we can be in the 50 states in Canada. I would say that's pretty much covers it.
Perfect. So, Bryan, what's the best way for somebody to reach out, learn more about Decal Impressions?
The greatest way is to start by visiting our website, www.decalimpressions.com. We have a tremendous amount of information on our site. And if you're not finding exactly what you want a personal touch from myself or some member of our team, we have contact forms, and they're just a great way to give us a little idea about what you're interested in, so that we assign the right member of our team to reach out to you and see if we can help you provide a value to your business.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Bryan, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at Decal Impressions to help your clients. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Bryan, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Adam. It was great to be here.